New York.
And an analysis by the J.P. Morgan Chase Institute finds Americans' checking and savings account balances below historical trends. But that's because they're shifting their money into financial vehicles that pay an investment income. There's more news and the latest developments at apnews.com. I'm Ben Thomas. Thanks for listening.
This is 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and streaming worldwide at WCPT820.com. We are Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter. Now, your WCPT 820 weather update.
I'm meteorologist Ray Miller from the Weatherology Weather Center. An extreme heat watch goes into effect on Wednesday. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low temperature of 69 degrees. Tuesday, sunny and warmer, high temperature of 84 degrees. The real heart of the heat arrives on Wednesday. Lots of sun, high of 97 degrees. The heat index in the triple digits with breezy southwest winds. Thursday, slight chance of thunderstorms with highs in the mid-90s. That's the latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 82.
If you're purchasing a new home and working with Rocket Mortgage, listen very closely. Carly, 54, first-time home buyer, income 65 G's a year. Contact your Rocket Mortgage for a mortgage. Rocket locked her into a 25-year fixed FHA loan at 6.125%, which sounds great until I reviewed Rocket's loan documents. Carly didn't know Rocket placed her into a 25-year fixed loan, not a 30-year fixed loan like she wanted. Carly also didn't know Rocket Mortgage charged her over $5,000 to lower her rate. I explained why I thought it wasn't in her financial best interest to buy down the rate, and that's why Team Hochberg, not Rocket Mortgage, will be helping Carly with her mortgage. Let's review. Rocket Mortgage placed Carly into a loan she didn't want and didn't understand why Rocket charged her to secure a lower rate. If you want to work with a lender you can trust, give us a call now at 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com, 855-563-2843 or visit our website 56david.com. Lower.com, equal housing lender, MLS 1124061.
Because facts matter. You're listening to WCPT 820.
Driving it home with Patti Vasquez, Patti Vasquez. From global conflicts to greenhouse gases, the folks refusing to wear masks says, and politicians getting caught grabbing asses says, she's driving it home with Patti Vasquez.
Well, hello. It's such a delightful time of day to connect with you again. I don't know. What voice am I doing, Lady B? I feel very proper. I'm wearing a dress. I'm wearing a dress, and it's a third outfit I've worn today. I worked in the office today, and I had to come home and do some work before I came here. And tonight, I'm going to the Music Box Theater. Don't forget, our friends have the Cinema Femme event. It's their last night of the film festival. You still have time to get there. And on Wednesday, we're heading over to Fitzgerald's for the Famous Brothers farewell tour. So that's at Fitzgerald's. Doors open at 7. Show is at 8. And that's a lot going on this week. In addition to that, I just had an idea. Lady B, I asked Matt to make sure that the microphone was rolled up before we began the show this time. See how I'm not doing on-air production this time? I know that it works because I can hear the microphone. Hi, Lady B.
Hi.
How are you doing? Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. I'm hydrated.
Excellent. I have to go get my hydration during the break. Yeah. I'm
excited for Wednesday. I can't wait to see the Famous Brothers.
I know. They're so much fun. And I should play some of their music. It's sort of a cappella, so I don't know if it's and it's very similar to, it's parody. It's satire, folks. The Famous Brothers. You can find out more about them on their Facebook page. Like Chris Jones is kind of, got that sort of, bluegrass beat to it and stuff. So because I was thinking about music as the show was starting, hearing Steve Goody sing that song, two things occurred to me. One, to remind folks that tonight is the virtual comedy show at 9 p.m. I'll probably be in my car because I'll still be at the Music Box. Okay. So I'll probably run out and do the show there. I do 3 minutes. I do a Patty Melt. Is it Patty Melt? No, it's called Is Patty Crazy is the name of the segment. Now we've changed it. I think we need to update our theme song. I think that's Steve Goody, who performs every Monday on the virtual comedy show. That's his song. I think we need folks. I would like folks to suggest. I don't have any prizes right now, so it just have to be for the fun of it. Because he talks about masks and grabbing asses, and he rhymes a bunch of different things. What would you guys like to see featured in the Driving It Home theme song? right? The big, maybe I don't want to call it. I don't want the bill to be in there. Maybe something about science, believing science kind of stuff. So yeah, folks, text me or call in a few moments, 773-763-9278 to the Credo Mobile phone and text line. Credo Mobile, better for the planet and for people. Go to credomobile.com. But it's time. We're at 4 years now. We should update the song. Yes. Right. So we'll do that. How was your weekend?
It was good. I just rested.
Good. Yeah. As we should. Yesterday was beautiful.
Yes, it was. It was nice. Not too
muggy.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's gonna get hot again, folks. Gonna get hot again. Brace yourselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm ready this time, I think.
You're right. Oh, I don't. I like it to be all brand new hell for me. I'm like, it's this stuff again. Excellent. We have a lot of show today. We have a lot of show coming up in a little bit. We're going to have Jan Mama Lancaster of Bloomington Normal Pridefest, which is going to be this Saturday, the 26th. So stay tuned. She owns the Bistro, Bloomington's premier alternative and live performance venue. Alternative bar. I love that. And so we also have Dr. Kristin Lyerly, who you guys have heard on the station before. She is an OBGYN, and she's previously run for office. She's the host of the Kristin Lyerly Show on Civic Media. Then we're going to talk to Anita Loch. You guys, this Saturday is one thing, Sunday's another thing. It's very busy this week. This is where there's a quickening in the summer where everyone's trying to get things done as our attention returns back to getting kids ready for school, heading into the fall. So there's going to be a flurry of events, and one of them is the Walworth County Dems event this Sunday. So go to walworthdems.org, and I will be speaking along with Lieutenant Governor Sarah Rodriguez, and I believe their new chair of the Wisconsin Dems, the deputy chair of the Wisconsin Dems. I'm sure that I'll remember their names when I meet them on Sunday. I apologize to our friends. I'm still a fib. Let's put it that way, my Wisconsin friends. I'm still a fib. I'm still a effing Illinois bastard. I don't got all the names down yet. So, but I will mingle with folks, and I'll be speaking again this Sunday in Walworth County. That's, I believe we're going to be at Lake Geneva, but we'll get more details from Anita. Or if you need them right now, you can go to walworthdems.org. And I had the opportunity to record an interview with Congressman, not state representative. I was listening to the previous show. They were talking about a lot of local races, and it was giving me a little bit of anxiety just thinking about all these folks jockeying for position and the power plays that are going to be made in the weeks and months to come over the next year as we head into these really important elections. However, we talked to Congressman Eric Sorensen, so we're going to have our conversation up at 6:30 with him, and then we'll wrap up with you. Right now, we do have the phone lines open. If you have any ideas for lyrics, and it doesn't have to be whole lyrics, just some new elements of the Driving It Home with Pat, Driving It Home, that song by Steve Goody, and then I will get them to Steve Goody and request that he make a new original song. And you can find all of Steve Goody's original song music, all the great recordings he does. He does a lot of satire. He does some fun. He does a lot of fun music across the span of topics, and a lot of them are, in fact, political. So you can go to stevegoody.com. We love supporting our live artists and creators. Let's get to Jim in Chicago. Hey, Jim, what's on your mind, my friend?
Hi, Patty. The first one is on the Titanic. The last song they played was "Nearer My God to Thee." The band struck that up as they sunk into the Atlantic. But that's what I feel the United States is at it.
Yeah, boy.
But anyway,
this is the second time today someone's made a Titanic reference, and I do not appreciate it. But go ahead, Jim.
Anyway. Yeah, well, that was another one. They thought they were disastrous. Not enough lifeboats on the Titan because they think it could sink. But there's a lot of things that are like that. But anyway, 2 things. There was none in the neighborhood I knew that was dating a 16-year-old girl, and I don't know if it came up a conversation, but I said, "Well, you got to be nuts." I said, "You're 20, whatever year." But sure enough, he got pinched. He did a year in the jail for statutory rape. But apparently that doesn't hold up with these guys, Trump and, girls under 14. It doesn't hold up with these people. They don't have to go to jail. And the other thing is, William Buckley's got some relative, and he's got the firing line on. So they put on that Undertaker from Indiana, the Happy Undertaker Pence. So this is what he said. He said, as a young man, I joined the Republican Party because of the New Deal. The New Deal was no good of a New Deal.
Oh my God.
That was no good. But that's what the Republicans are.
Believe, yeah.
They've been on another crop since that's almost 90 years ago.
Yep,
90 years ago. And they can't get over the fact that FDR was elected overwhelmingly in four different terms. I mean, they had a fit over that because we can't have that again because they know if it was a popular Democrat, he'd be in office forever. But anyway, I mean, that's the undertone. That's the undertone of this. Besides the absolute insanity of the whole thing, the Republicans that are still Republicans that aren't, in league with this maniac. That's their theme song, is to undo the New Deal, Social Security, Medicare, you name it, minimum wage, insurance, unemployment insurance, and so on and so forth.
Well, to your point about the fact that they're still angry about the New Deal, this is what Jess Piper mentioned last week, was that this is what happens when we didn't punish the people after the Civil War. We didn't hold the traitors responsible.
Yeah, but that's really going. You're really going way back.
Yeah, but I mean, sure. But I mean, like, if we're going to go back 90 years, we may as well go back 150 years, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, I know, but still, I want to stay in this century. If I could,
They won't let us. They won't let us.
I know, Patty. But anyway, I don't know, a good song. He's got a great song. It's a great song anyway. Goody's terrific. I don't know. He can dream up another song, I'm sure. So anyway, on that note, Patty, you have a good night, and thanks for taking my call, Patty. Take care.
Take care. Appreciate it. And we got Dave in Hoffman Estates. Hey, Dave, what's on your mind, my friend?
Yeah, Patty, I just read it would have been last week. I didn't get a chance to get in touch, but where Hegfest had notified members of Congress of a proposal to temporarily house detained immigrants at bases in Indiana and New Jersey. A step towards potentially detaining thousands of people on bases on U.S. soil. The two would be the camp Atterbury in Indiana and Joint Base McGuire-Dix Lakehurst in New Jersey. And remember, during Trump's first term, he had authorized the use of military bases to detain immigrant children, including Army installations at Fort Bliss and Goodfellow Air Base in Texas. That time.
Right.
And a little bit more on the chucklier side, with Trump and his swollen ankles, could we say he has cankles? That he has cankles now too? Remember how they made fun of him?
Yeah, I have to say, like, I'm not interested in making fun of somebody's declining health, just because he can't hold a glass of water without bruising his hands. But these images of the bruised hands, the thick, the swollen ankles. There was one image where you could see like tubing from his groin to his ankle, and so there was a point where like people thought that wasn't swelling, that they were like IV, like a catheter bag. These images have been around for over a year, and I guess we just don't have sort of the collective memory of, or maybe there were it's the same thing where there's so many stories. I don't know why they decided to address the rumors now. It wasn't like much louder than when I saw them months ago, but I am more obviously I'm much more concerned about the fact that MAGA seems completely comfortable having elected who's someone who appears to be a sexual predator of children, a pedophile, amongst other things.
Maybe MAGA or the higher powers that be got something else planned that they've talked about where Trump is served his purpose, and they didn't. What's his face? Didn't he already go down and talk with the Wall Street owner?
Right. With Rupert Murdoch, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, you mean Rupert Murdoch has no problem taking down Trump. He doesn't. It's just a different brand of fascism for him. It's all a play toy. It's all entertainment.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then the billionaire that financed the vice president that time too. So
Peter Thiel, correct. Yep. The one.
Harry, let me talk.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it. Yep, thank you. But yeah, by the way, that reminds me, folks, if you are so inclined, I would love to invite you to check out my latest piece on Substack with Minocqua Brewing Company. You can go to Minocqua Brewing Company's Substack or sign up for their newsletter, and you'll get those columns every week right in your mailbox on Monday mornings right away. If you happen to also be inclined to order some woke coffee, there's 2 lines in the piece that I wrote that I would look back, I'm like, I really wish I would have rewritten that, but it is what it is. I realize that people misunderstood. I wrote about how when they come for the comedians and Stephen Colbert's demise on CBS. Look, I have no doubt that it's also financial. But we know that's clear because Paramount executives want to make these mergers, and if Stephen Colbert criticizing the president threatens that, they're going to get rid of him. Every comic I talk to that starts out, I'm like, look, the comedy clubs, they're not that interested. I mean, most. Believe me, I know there are a few comedy club bookers and owners who are invested in good, talented, funny comics. But for the most part, I hate to tell you this, but they're there to sell the booze. Why do you think there's a 2-drink minimum? And the same thing goes for CBS. It's their toy. If they don't want to have the Late Show, they're not going to have the Late Show. However, the fact that he came out and all of MAGA's all excited, and now he says that Jimmy Kimmel's next and all these things, they're coming for the comedians, meaning that they don't want to have someone say the emperor isn't wearing his clothes. For centuries, comedians have been the jesters who call truth to power to their faces. And it is problematic. But if you think we're going away, if you think comedians, we are not good with people in authority. We just, if anything, we get louder because we're uncomfortable, and we want to make you uncomfortable too. Just saying. Let me take a break here. When we come back, we're going to talk to our friend Jan Mama Lancaster of the Bloomington Normal Pridefest, which is going to be this Saturday. More in a moment on WCPT 820. Oh, real quick, thank you to my sponsors, Source Solar. Go to source.solar. Make sure that you make an appointment now because there are some incentives that are expiring federally, although Illinois has some good ones. But you want to join thousands of other happy customers in the Chicagoland area by putting solar panels on your house or business if you've been thinking about it. So source.solar. Go to Pride Coffee Roasters. Our friends from Pride Coffee Roasters make some incredible coffee. I had one from India this morning. It has hints of chocolate and graham crackers, and it was really good. So please go to pridecoffeeroasters.com and order a bean subscription and find out more about all their great coffee beans. And we want to thank our friends at Minocqua Brewing Company. As I mentioned, go to minocquabrewingcompany.com and go to kidsaboveall.org. More after this on KKNW and WCPT.
Think Theory Radio.
We enter this world of hyper-reality. In case you didn't know, hyper-reality is the inability of consciousness to distinguish reality from a simulation of reality, especially in technologically advanced societies. The action of hyper-reality is to desire reality in an attempt to achieve that desire to fabricate a false reality that is to be consumed as real.
Think Theory Radio with Damian Perdue. Saturdays at 6 p.m. on WCPT 820.
That's the sound of the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program, saving you money and energy. With rebates on Energy Star appliances, so you can come back to a home full of savings. Discover more ways to save at ComEd.com/home savings. ComEd, powering lives.
Hey Google, play WCPT.
Streaming Chicago's progressive talk from TuneIn.
From city streets to political beats, you're driving it home with Patti Vasquez. Your progressive talk fuels the ride.
Thank you so much for joining us as we continue to drive it home. I'm your host, Patti Vasquez. Why isn't that coming down? That didn't roll down. I had to make it stop. I was trying to turn it down. It stopped playing, right? I'm feeling a little crazy. This segment is brought to you by Pride Coffee Roasters, focusing on roasting single origins that are perfectly balanced. Right now, if you go to their website, right now you can travel the world with one of 11 different single origins, always freshly roasted for you by Patty and Jackie, the owners of Pride Coffee Roasters. For a limited time, head to their website and place an order with coupon code DRIVEHOME10. 10% off every order, by the way. So it's 10% off your entire order. You guys get some coffee and get some stuff. And that's Drive Home 10 at pridecoffeeroasters.com for your discount. Now, because it fits perfectly with our segment, our friend Jan Mama Lancaster of the Bloomington Normal Pridefest joins us on the line. How you doing, Mama?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me today.
Absolutely. I don't know if we had a chance to meet at the McLean County Dems event on I don't even know, last week. But I love your neck of the woods. I love that you have this great place. Tell us about your bar.
Well, I've been here just over 33 years. So I've been down here a long time, and I've been involved in downtown politics and been on lots of committees over the years, and so it's just been great. I've been able to create kind of a safe haven here, and after many years of trying to get a Pride Fest going, for my 25th year, I was able to convince them to let me close off one block, and now we are pretty much surrounding the whole downtown. So.
Hey, congratulations. What inspired you to open the bistro as a safe haven for a community that has needed it for so long?
Well, honestly, it was kind of a fluke, and it's not a great story, but I was pretty good on the other side of the bar for a lot of years, and this opportunity just kind of fell in my lap. The building was available, and I just thought it was something that was really needed, and so I just pursued it, and at the time, I really didn't realize it was going to be that hard to get money from banks for queer-operated businesses, et cetera. I've learned a lot in 33 years. But it was just kind of a fluke that happened. Everything just fell into place, and we were, of course, trying to throw all the money together to get it open, and a friend of mine came in at the last minute and gave me the last amount of money I needed, and we wrote an agreement on a bar napkin, and that was law. So there you go.
Well, that's fantastic. I love the serendipity of the universe bringing all those elements together for you in order to run this business. And again, we're talking to Jan Mama Lancaster of the Bloomington Normal Pridefest this Saturday, July 26th. She's also the owner of the Bistro, Bloomington's premier alternative bar and live performance venue. When did you become was it live performance from the beginning, or is that something that's grown with your venue?
Well, it's been from the beginning. As far as live performances, we've always had, drag performances from the very beginning, and we've also done a lot of live music off and on. It just kind of goes with what the flow is. There for a while, karaoke was everything,
Sure.
So we kind of focused on that instead of bands, and now it's back to live music again. But we do several shows a week for drag performances, and then of course we do have live music almost every happy hour. So, and at nighttime too. So,
I love that. So tell us about the Pride Fest this Saturday.
Well, we are very excited. When we started the fest, we had this little rinky-dink stage, and now, of course, we've grown to have a huge professional stage plus a second stage. We started doing a concept called Pride Idol several years ago, which goes for the whole month of July, and people come in and sing karaoke, and then they're chosen and they move forward, and the winners for the whole month of July perform, and then at Pride Fest, and then there's a big payout for them, and so that's a lot of fun. And we have live music. This year we are bringing in Leah Marlene, who was on Pride Idol. She was, I think, the runner-up on Pride Idol on TV. So we're excited to have her back, and she's going to be performing around 7. We also, one of the drag queens we're bringing in is Andy Heroin, who was on the TV show Dragula, which is pretty much like RuPaul, but it's scary.
I love that. Oh, my God. That sounds brilliant.
Yeah, and then of course, we have a huge drag show to finalize the night, and then on our second stage, that's kind of more family friendly over on that area, and there's just a lot of great music over there. Lots of great things happening. Of course, the whole area is just going to be full of great things, great vendors, lots of profits, lots of educational information. It's really just turned out to be a great event.
And I love that they're going to be illuminating the museum there. The McLean County Museum of History will be illuminated by rainbow-colored lights beginning at dusk on Friday, going through Sunday. I mean, this has to be such a tremendous change you've seen since throughout the community over 33 years at the Bistro. I mean, would you have thought that, right?
No. It is just amazing to me. Like I said, I thought the very first year when we were able to just close off one block, I thought we might get 200 or 300 people, and it ended up several thousand. And now last year, they're estimating that we had 10,000 people here. So
what?
I would have never imagined that in my lifetime. But I'm very thankful for the love and support of all of my downtown neighbors. The businesses are just great. We have a lot of sponsorships that come forward and help us, because this is put on by myself and whoever gives me a couple bucks here and there. It is not a city sponsored event. It is independent. So that in itself makes it just kind of a fluke that we were able to pull it off and keep it going all these years. So, but I'm thankful for my customers. Without their support over the years, I don't know what we would have done without them.
And I have to imagine that the Amtrak station isn't too far away from the event. So folks in Chicago can jump on Amtrak and be there and enjoy an incredible afternoon, is all I'm saying, an evening, right?
That's right. Right. We have a lot of people that live in Chicago now that were students at ISU and Wesleyan universities that have been coming back for Pride Fest. I had people coming from all over last year and the years before, so it's always great to see my Chicago kids come down and visit me.
I have to imagine. I'm trying to remember what our gay venue was in Champaign-Urbana. Is there one now that you know of? Is there like a community?
Yes. I think probably you were familiar with Chester Street.
Yeah, of course. C Street, of course.
That was in Champaign for many years. And they have a bar now called Anthem that's probably been open just about a year. And it's doing really well. So I'm really happy that we have Champaign with a bar, of course, Springfield. And it's just great to see that all of these little towns around here are now doing their own little Pride Fests, and it's just great. The more education that we can get out to people, the better it is for all of us. Education is the key. So that's my philosophy, and that's why I've been able to keep going, is that, I'm here to help people. It isn't all about money for me. It's more about the community and making sure that there's a safe environment for everyone.
I want to come hang out with Mama. I can't make it this Saturday because I have a memorial for a friend of mine, but I know that she would be on the train with me, but I love this. Again, you can go to the Bloomington Normal Pridefest Facebook page to learn more about all the performers. The Bistro presents 2025 Bloomington Normal Pridefest. Again, that's Saturday, July 26th from 4 to 10:30 in downtown Bloomington. It seems like an incredible lineup, but I need to come down and meet you. Do you do stand-up comedy?
I would love to meet you.
Do you do stand-up comedy at your venue too?
We are doing stand-up comedy the Thursday before Pride Fest. A friend of Leah Marlene's is a comic, and she's going to come down and do a set. And then we have live music on the Friday before Pride Fest. So, yes, we do stand-up. Are you going to come down and do stand-up for me?
We've been talking about doing an event for our McLean County Dem friends, so maybe we found a venue.
Oh.
I'm just saying.
We'd love to have you.
And I got
love to have you.
And have you talked to Gwen Levy? She in the Breakdown, she does an incredible music about all the things that we're going through. So she'd be great for your venue, too. I'm just saying. Maybe we pair up. We need to get together. Exactly.
That's it.
You guys, we're passing through Bloomington Bloomington Normal, or if you have never been to the bistro, go to the bistro and say hi to Mama. Thank you so much, Mama. We love talking to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great
Bye-bye.
event. Congratulations. Bye-bye. Let's thank you. Let's take a break here, and we'll come back with Dr. Lyerly. Kristin Lyerly is going to join us. Apparently, she wants to throw down some Bears-Packers. I hate the Packers, but I mean, we're the Bears. I don't hate the Packers. I'm a Chicagoan. More after this on WCPT 820, Heartland Signal, and KKNW 1150 in Seattle.
You're listening to WCPT 820. Here's the latest Chicago weather update.
I'm meteorologist Ray Miller from the Weatherology Weather Center. An extreme heat watch goes into effect on Wednesday. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low temperature of 69 degrees. Tuesday, sunny and warmer, high temperature of 84 degrees. The real heart of the heat arrives on Wednesday. Lots of sun, high of 97 degrees. The heat index in the triple digits with breezy southwest winds. Thursday, slight chance of thunderstorms with highs in the mid-90s. That's the latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 81.
This is Chicago's Progressive Talk, 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and online at WCPT820.com, where facts matter.
Hey, it's Mario J. Bell here of Bell & Company Radio on WCPT. You can listen to us every Sunday at 3 p.m., and you'll be joined by me, Libby, and
Jason Rosenberg, JasonRosenbergRealestate.com, but I'm also the lowly comedic sidekick.
That's great. So make sure you tune in and get all the tips you can from him and have a good time with us, again, on Bell & Company every Sunday at 3.
Tune in.
Greece is cheap.
But the airfare costs a fortune.
Paris?
Not much closer, and again, airfare...
What about Puerto Vallarta?
Let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? Low-cost airlines.
With one call to low-cost airlines, you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations. Where would you like to go? London, Rome, Costa Rica, Australia?
Wow, that's cheap.
So why wait? Call now to learn how crazy cheap it is to fly anywhere in the U.S. or international. Our prices are so low, we can't publish them. The only way to get them is to call to instantly hear the most amazing best deals on airline travel. It's that easy. So call now and start packing.
800-708-3091. 800-708-3091. 800-708-3091. That's 800-708-3091.
WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk, where facts matter.
If you're listening to this station right now, you've definitely heard my voice before. Hi, I'm Hawk.
And I'm Pete. And we're with Source Solar, your local source for solar. Source Solar is Chicagoland's premier solar installer, providing solutions for over 1,000 homeowners and business owners across Illinois and Iowa.
With over a decade of industry experience and deep roots here in Chicago, we have the expertise to help your transition to clean, renewable, resilient energy.
We can guarantee that we save you money day one without any out-of-pocket cost to you. This means you have an instant ROI, instant payback, and can save money to add to your bottom line day one.
At Source Solar, we source everything as local as possible, meaning we always carry the Made in USA sticker.
Find us online at www.source.solar. Stop in our office at 5710 North Northwest Highway or give us a call at 773-985-3992.
And don't forget to ask for Hawk
or Pete.
No detours, no distractions. Just bold ideas and real talk. This is Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you. My roller doesn't work over here. I can't roll down music for some reason. It says I have to do that abrupt. We're done with the music, which is fine because we have on the line with us. We have to get to our conversation with Dr. Kristin Lyerly. She's an OBGYN. She's an activist. She's run for office. She's a host on Civic Media. All the things. You're as busy as I am. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, I'm a Green Bay Packer fan sitting in the shadow of Lambeau Field right now.
Are you really?
I am ready to talk. Oh, yeah.
What, do you just drive to the parking lot? I know that don't fans when there's a touchdown, they leave the bars and do a loop around the field, around the stadium?
I don't know about that. I don't know about that, but around the stadium is a fun place to be, always.
Always. I have to say, I used to love driving past Soldier Field, but when they landed that alien saucer on top of it, it doesn't quite have the same charm as it used to. It's just not. Honestly, it's not pretty. At any rate,
what's the deal with that? Can I just mention? I saw Kendrick Lamar and SZA at Soldier Field this summer, and I thought this is a great stadium. I'm so glad they're finally putting it to use. That's a joke.
Wow. Well, don't worry. I believe they're moving.
I love you, the Bears.
Oh, I don't. Hey, we are again the lovable losers. We went from the Cubs being the lovable losers, who are having a good season, by the way. But the Bears. It's been a minute. It's funny. I just saw a clip of years ago when Devin Hester had a return. He ran that return for a touchdown, and it was all they did the entire game. That Super Bowl, like in 2008 or something like that. I can't even remember. What's your season looking like for the Packers?
I'm always optimistic. I don't project. I go to the game. I enjoy it. And I honestly do love the Bears because the Packers-Bears rivalry is the greatest rivalry in football.
Oh, no doubt about it. I think that's a big part of where calling us fibs comes from, that and because they hate us as tourists in Wisconsin. But that's fine. I'm a fib for Wisconsin. I'm here for it. But it's so bad. I mean, the rivalry is so deep and so strong, I guess you could say. But I was doing stand-up comedy in Wisconsin. It was like a bowling alley in the 90s. And the comics were all talking. The MC was going to bring me up. We were sitting at a table with the owner. And the guy goes, well, how do you want me to introduce you? And I said, I've been traveling all over the country, colleges and clubs, your usual. I go, please just don't say I'm from Chicago. And he goes, why? And he goes, why? And I goes, people will boo. And he goes, I go, no. I swear to God, if you say I'm from Chicago, you will be standing on that stage by yourself for a very long time. And we were sitting with the owner, and lo and behold, he said I was from Chicago, and I did not move. I let him stand on stage and fix that for me.
We know our people.
Yeah, who wants to go up to stage to booze like that? I mean, that's how bad it would be for me in Chicago, in Wisconsin. At any rate,
yeah.
Before I know we're going to talk a lot about some of the policies and what's going on nationally and some of the stories that are out there. I do want to touch on something that I often talk about in my act as a comic, which is I kind of shine a light on the experiences of going to a gynecologist. But one of the things I've learned from that is women have sent me an email saying, I didn't go to a gynecologist. I didn't get a pap smear for 12 years because it was so painful or humiliating. And then when you were talking about it, I realized I wasn't the only one. I had a woman who called me on when I was another radio station. She said she'd had a bad experience, but listening to me, made her realize she needed that her bad experience was something she had to get through. So can you please explain to not just women, but because we have men in our lives who can talk to us about this, how important it is to get our exams?
It is really important for all of us to get our routine preventive care every year because things like pap smear is screening for cancer. It's screening for cervical cancer. And that kind of stuff sneaks up on you. If you catch it early, it's treatable. If you don't catch it early, it's devastating. And that is not a pretty way to die. And that's not the only thing. It's blood pressure checks and cholesterol checks and all of these other things that don't have symptoms, but can be stopped early, can be treated early in order to allow you to live a longer, healthier life.
Yeah, folks, get them done. I know that they're painful. It's annoying. You don't like going to the doctor's office, but the alternative is to not have that as an option anymore, and you want to be able to get ahead of things.
Yes, but Patty, I should mention we have new things that are coming out. Like we're starting to screen less for the cells and more for the virus, and there is new screening that's coming out that's going to allow women to do their screening at home with a Q-tip that they put in their own vaginas.
Yes!
So this is really exciting stuff. I know. It's not quite ready for prime time yet, but it is on the horizon. So there is something out there for those of you who hate going to the doctor.
Finally, because I felt like one of the things I talk about in my act is that I feel as though doctors don't realize how painful it is. Like when they say, like my joke is that I'm going to wear a pair of Spurs next time. So when they say you're going to feel some pressure, I can kick them in the head and be like, do you feel a little pressure? But say scooch again. I dare you. Say scooch. But I think that one of the jokes I have is that I think that we've never, like, we basically lay back and go, I guess this is happening, and don't always express how uncomfortable it is, So I love that we might have the opportunity to address it ourselves, and that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Love that.
It's so important. And I always say to my patients before I do their exam, this is like a speech. You are in control here. If at any point you want me to stop, you tell me to stop, and I will. And we go slow, and especially for first-timers or people who have had bad experiences, we make it as gentle and put them in as much control as possible. And I got to tell you, I'm kind of like, I've had good results. My patients have been happy. They usually at the end of the exam say, that wasn't bad at all.
Oh, wow. I've never said that. I always say, thank God that's over. All right, now I got another year or two until I have to do that again. I love that. Well, and I love that you talk them through it, because especially someone the first time, because we don't know what to expect. Mine was, I had a nurse come, like I was 16 and she held my hand. The doctor said I'm going to bring in a nurse. I didn't know what the hell was happening. And I found out later that at 16, I wasn't even sexually active. Did I need to have a pap smear at 16?
The guidelines have changed a lot, but I don't recall that being one of the old guidelines.
Right?
Usually it was 18 or when sexually active. Yeah.
Yeah, I was not. At any rate, that's an axe to grind at another time with a doctor that probably isn't around anymore. So at any rate, what are some of your patients or the conversations that you're having in regards to these incredibly catastrophic cuts to Medicaid? What are folks concerned about?
Well, people are worried, and it's not just my patients. It's all patients. It's especially our patients who are living in rural areas and who depend on Medicaid. And who I'm hearing mostly from is folks who are living with a disability. Yeah. They are really worried that they're going to get singled out and told that they have to go to work, which they know that they can't. They have already qualified for disability. And all of the paperwork, which is onerous, and sometimes they need help filling it out. They are very concerned that they could lose their benefits, and that could be life-threatening for them.
Yeah, I agree. They're not wrong. They are going to make it more difficult to demonstrate that they are permanently disabled. I even go through this with the parking plaque. I have a son who is he's missing part of his corpus callosum. He has agenesis. He also has an incredibly rare genetic disorder called primrose. So he's nonverbal. He'll never be able to live independently. And yet we still, every single year we apply for our handicap placard for our house, they turn it down initially. It's just like anything else where they're like, and we've gone through this too, Lady B, where they'll turn you down for, SNAP benefits or like all those things because they figure they hope that you'll give up. Don't you think, Doc?
Oh, I absolutely think that's the case. And what we've seen out of Georgia and Arkansas, where they had these pilot programs, was that it actually ended up costing the government more money.
Yes.
And more people lost benefits, which cost the government more money in the long run. It is a total loser in order for Republicans to feel like they've got this political win. We all lose here.
There's no doubt about it. And with senior care, with, as you mentioned, disability services, it's really unconscionable what's happening. We need to take a break here. Can you stick around for another segment?
Yeah, please.
Excellent. We're talking to Dr. Kristin Lyerly. She is a Wisconsin OBGYN and host of the Kristin Lyerly Show on Civic Media. Find her show on civicmedia.us. More after this on WCPT 820 KKNW. And, of course, on the Facebook live stream. Hi, everybody.
DQ presents How to Make Your Summer Take Flight. Just head into DQ for our new Superman Cake Batter Cookie Dough Blizzard Treat. Treat your inner hero to an epic mix of sugar cookie dough, sprinkles, and cake batter flavor. Blend it all with legendary DQ soft serve, and it's enough to tempt Superman himself. Fly into DQ for our new Superman Cake Batter Cookie Dough Blizzard Treat before it's gone. And don't miss Superman, only in theaters July 11th. DQ, happy tastes good. Only at participating locations.
This is a WCPT Veteran Minute. In the mid-1800s, many American women were expected to follow what history calls the cult of true womanhood, where men would go off to work and women would stay home, taking care of the house, their children, and husbands. During the Civil War, many women left their homes to join the fight. Thousands of women from the North and South volunteered to join brigades, while over 400 women disguised themselves as men to fight in the war. In the Union, 20,000 white and African American women worked as nurses, traveling from hospital to hospital, offering care to wounded soldiers, even helping to convince the government to create United States Sanitary Commission to create a preventive, hygienic, and sanitary service for the benefit of the Army. During the Civil War, women were faced with new duties, challenging many men's minds to what should be a proper woman's place.
This is WCPT 820, where facts matter.
Welcome back to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us as we continue to drive it home. Joining us on the line is Dr. Kristin Lyerly. She's the host of the Kristin Lyerly Show on Civic Media, our friends of the North, and relentless Packers, I guess berating Bears fans, taunting us. I don't know when someone like what kind of doc. I thought first do no harm, Doc. I thought first do no harm.
Listen, I was at the last game of the season, and I don't know if you remember that game, but you should because you're a Bears fan. It was humiliating for the Packers. It was terrible. It was awful, and the Bears fans were having a blast. So I'm still here with you.
Isn't there a super Packers fan who would had bought passes to get onto the field at Soldier Field? Like he was at every game. I think he ended up suing like the Bears because they didn't want to let him out on the field. He was kind of a very over the top Packers fan. I'm just saying, Packers fans go all in. They are not messing around when it comes to their team, which is, you know what? You got to have your. I'm more of a Cubs fan, but even then, I'm not as much of a baseball fan as I used to be. I like. You know what? Have you heard of these? The Super Bananas, like this like sort of performative team. They're like the Harlem Globetrotters, but oh my God, it's amazing. Those are the games I want to go to.
The Savannah Bananas. Oh my gosh, have you seen their videos on TikTok? They are hilarious.
Yes, that's it. Thank you. The Savannah Bananas, you guys. I think we can go. They're coming to. Do you know they're coming to Comiskey, but the tickets are like up to $1,000 now to see the Savannah Bananas. Yep.
Oh wow, yeah. Well, it's nice to know that they're playing baseball at Comiskey again.
Exactly. Fair. That one's fair. See, although I did just buy a Pope Chicago shirt with a Pope Leo is symbol, but he's swinging like it looks like a White Sox image that I bought from Hairbrained folks. Let's get this a little bit of not a little bit, a very serious topic, which I think has been at the heart of these salacious conversations about the Epstein files. This is something that I don't insert myself in the sense that like I guess I just don't follow like these true crime things and hearing about how this guy was trafficking girls. We know that there were survivors that kept trying to come forward, whatever, like a lot of it was suppressed. I don't know if they were bought off, but at the very heart of this, we're talking about sexual violence against girls, aren't we?
We are, and it's not one or two girls, it's many girls. And for me, as an OBGYN doctor, when all this went down, I thought I didn't understand what the magnitude of this was, and all the political stuff, that's a whole other thing. To me, I take care of the victims of sex trafficking. And, this is not a small number of people. We're talking up to 50,000 girls and children every year are victims of sex trafficking, and fewer than 0.5% report it because of the psychological manipulation, the shame, the threats that they'll be punished. They are literally stuck in these disgusting, terrible situations, and they don't have any way out.
Yeah. I am a survivor of childhood sexual violence, and my mother was not comfortable. Like we went to the police station. I think they started the process, but I think for her, the idea, and also as a woman who was newly here from Mexico in the 1970s, I think it was overwhelming and scary. And I hope that we are in a place of better supports, because there were none. Like for me, it would come out like in bursts of memories and things like that, and not knowing why. I wouldn't let people touch me. I would like people would touch me, and I'm like, even like trying to get a massage was very hard for a long time because I would tense gets up. I don't like having my skin touched, that much. I had to teach myself how to hug people. And like a lot of us have to almost be our own therapists, right? We have to kind of come to our own healing. And I do want to say that I know that there are survivors listening right now. What would you say as far as like some of the supports that people should turn to if they or someone they know are survivors?
There is no shame in what your experience was, and there are lots of folks out there. There's actually a survivors hotline. I don't know it off the top of my head, but we'll get it for you, where if you are struggling, and many people just like you, Patty, if you've had an experience years ago, it comes out in fits and bursts, and sometimes when you least expect it, it is not too late to get help. So if this has happened to you, and it has happened to many of us, please seek the help that you get. Again, no judgment, no fear, no shame. Please take care of yourself.
Yeah, and there isn't. I mean, I was never public about it until I ran for office, and some of the horrible language that was used by another liberal, but about that I can't be trusted with the safety of women and girls in the cases of rape and incest, and it goes to the very heart. To me, it was problematic, just even like conjuring up these images, but it goes to the point of, and that's why I made the comparison in an essay I wrote recently, is that people keep using this trauma for political points or to trying to lord something over everybody, and it's just so unfathomable to me. So when these Epstein files that we're talking about, we're glossing over the fact that there are survivors, and these people are not interested in helping children overcome the trauma of this, are they? I mean, the MAGA.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
No, not at all, because it's a story to them. But, as you said, there are real people's lives at stake here. And these mostly young women have suffered, have struggled, have been intimidated, have been told that if they come forward to tell their story, that they will continue to suffer. It is so unfathomable to me, clearly to you, that we are using their lives for political points. But that's the world we live in right now, Patty.
It really, it's bonkers. And how do you pace yourself? Because, you're a physician, you're working in an area that carries a lot of weight to it when you're dealing with survivors and helping, perhaps setting someone on a course to treatment if they've discovered an illness or a virus or all those things. What do you do for your own self-care, Doc?
Well, before I answer that question, I will tell you that the National Human Trafficking Hotline is 888-373-7888. That's 888-373-7888. And as far as me taking care of myself, I biked here to Lambeau today. When I get on my bicycle, everything just goes whoosh. So I try to keep up to maintain my physical health. I have 4 amazing sons who are my world, and I love the work that I do. I'm invested in it. I know it makes a difference in people's lives, and that in itself is sustaining.
Well, we appreciate that you do all of the work. What do you focus on because there's so many stories that come out so fast and furiously? I mean, so how do you manage all of the information, and how do you make sure that you're focusing on the things that you can address, whether it's in your show or with your patients? Yeah.
Yeah, it's different things. So in my doctor world, I'm keeping up with the latest advances in OBGYN care, and luckily I'm partnered with a wonderful organization, the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, and they do a fantastic job of giving us articles and getting the latest information out to us. And then with the podcast, it's really like, what's happening in my community? And here's a story that they want to tell. That's just a labor of love for me. I love elevating voices and making things better for the people who live here. And then, with the political stuff, that just feels like building. So I'm actually sitting outside of Lambeau right now. I'm about to go inside, and the 8th Congressional District executive team is meeting. We already have candidates who are interested in running for Congress in this district. It's so exciting. We've got 4 people who have already filed to run against Glenn Grothman just south of us, and that is a seat that is so hard to find a candidate for. But people are stepping up because they want to make a difference, and I am here for it, Patty.
Outstanding. I love it. I love it. We have a listener that would like to, I think, share a little bit of their story. If you would hang out with us for a moment, because Ed is calling from Hoffman Estates as a survivor. Ed, you're on with me and Dr. Kristin Lyerly. What's on your mind, my friend? What do you want to share with us?
Hi there. Well, I just want to say your show tonight really hits home. I never really understood why I have a problem with human contact, but I realized things happened to me when I was really young.
Yeah. It's weird how... Go ahead.
My wife doesn't understand why. It's hard for me to be touched.
Yeah. It's it
is hard.
It is, and it's hard to explain to people. I had somebody, Ed, I'll tell you, I had a friend who would always hug me, and like he thought it was funny that I didn't like to be hugged, and so he would do it more aggressively. And this is where we try to teach kids, like if they don't want to be hugged by somebody, they're allowed to say they don't want to be hugged or get a big sloppy kiss from their aunt or whatever it is, because we all have our reasons for having those boundaries. Ed, are you able to get some? Have you been able to talk to like a therapist? Because now you can do it on Zoom, and it helps me a lot. I can do it in my car with telehealth. Would you be interested in looking into that?
No, I don't know. I'm pretty old. It doesn't really matter anymore.
Oh, no, Ed.
It does matter.
It does.
You're never too old, Ed. It does matter. You matter.
Ed, I'm 54 and I'm still working through it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Please, Ed.
We're with you, Ed.
We're with you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and I know this sounds trite, but you can even just Google like your specific what you've gone through and therapists who work with people who have similar situations to us, okay? And if you, honestly, it goes a long way. Even if it's just one conversation, just to like put it out there to somebody who's not invested in you. You know what I mean? Like that's part of the hard element of it. Is we know that it's hard to talk to the people in our lives. Okay. And I'm so grateful that you called. I'm sending you all the light and love. Okay.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you, Ed. Oh, Doc. See, and that's if there's one caller like Ed, we know that there's so many more. So I really appreciate your conversation with us today and talking about the work that you do.
Oh, Patty, it takes a hell of a lot of courage to do what Ed just did.
It really does. It does. Thank you, Ed.
Yes.
Oh, I know. And I had not shared my story. Like I said, I never, there were maybe, I could count on two hands how many people in my life, less than 10 people that I had ever shared that story with. And like not necessarily any of the details, but that it happened. And it is hard. And I know that doctors like you, like, you know, even when you have a patient, like they're not necessarily going to come forward with some of that. So thank you for providing a space that is safe for people, Doc.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for providing that space openly the way that you do every single day. I'm really grateful for you.
We got to keep showing up because, oh, man, they don't want us to, Doc. We know that's true.
They can't stop us, though, can they, sister?
No. As my fourth grade teacher said, lacks self-control. What's the best way for people to follow the work that you do?
I am on all the socials at Dr. Kristin Lyerly. That's Dr. KRISTINLYERLY. Come find me and say hey.
Awesome. I'll talk to you in a few weeks. Appreciate it, Doc. Thank you,
my friend.
Take care. Wow.
Bye.
Wow. And thank you, Ed. That was really important. And as the doctor said, it was really brave. Let's take a break here. We'll continue our conversation after this on WCPT and KKNW.
WCPT Replay.
We are blessed to have one of the most prolific writers and storytellers and authors in the country right now, and that's Michelle Duster.
When people try to say, well, you know, they want to make America great again, I mean, it's code language for making it white again. But this country has never been a white country. People want to act like there were no indigenous people here. They were in the majority when, you know, the Europeans discovered this country. And then after millions of Africans were imported by force, you know, to come to this country, in many places in the South, people of European descent were in the extreme minority, you know, so then for them to not say out loud they want an all-white country, it's like it never has been. They're pining for something that never existed.
Keep listening to WCPT 820 because facts matter.
Viking, dedicated to creating travel experiences for the thinking person, with programs designed for cultural enrichment on board and on shore. Discover more at Viking.com.
AP News, I'm Ben Thomas. The Trump administration's released more than 240,000 pages of records on the FBI's surveillance and the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The AP's Matt Brown.
The move comes after President Trump said that the release of the documents early in his term would be important for transparency and truth on the part of the entire nation. Though in contrast, and despite concerns from the King family, who said that King's surveillance and assassination were deeply personal matters for their family and the civil rights movement at large. Included in the documents are hundreds of thousands of pages, digitized over the decades, but sealed since a 1977 court order that they not be released to the public. Associated Press reporters are currently combing through the documents as we speak to be able to tell what is different or updated from documents that have either been released but redacted or not available to the public over the decades.
King's two living children, Martin III and Bernice, issued a statement urging people reviewing the files to do so with empathy, restraint, and respect for the family's continuing grief. They also repeated the family's long-held contention that James Earl Ray, the man convicted of King's assassination, was not solely responsible, if at all. In Louisville, Kentucky, a judge has sentenced a former police officer to nearly 3 years in prison for using excessive force during a botched 2020 raid in which Breonna Taylor was killed, the judge declining a Justice Department recommendation of no prison time. The Pentagon's ordered 700 U.S. Marines to leave Los Angeles. They deployed more than a month ago during protests against the Trump administration's immigration raids. About 2,000 National Guard troops remain in Los Angeles. On Wall Street, stock indexes inched to more records today. The S&P up 0.1%, the Nasdaq 0.4%. Sessutel reports it came at the start of a big week of corporate financial reports.
Verizon rose 4% after reporting profits that came in ahead of forecasts. Other big companies slated to report this week include Alphabet, Coca-Cola, and Tesla.
This is AP News. Actor Malcolm Jamal Warner has died. Ed Donahue has the story.
Authorities in Costa Rica say Warner accidentally drowned. A current pulled him deeper into the ocean. Malcolm Jamal Warner played Theo Huxtable on The Cosby Show.
It's under control, so no problem.
Warner has appeared in TV and movies over the years and directed. He's a musician, winning a Grammy. Warner told the AP in 2015 he got great advice from his mom on life after The Cosby Show.
It's cyclical, so you want to make sure that you have diversified yourself enough so you're not making desperate career choices during those dry spells.
Warner also said the sexual assault allegations against Bill Cosby tainted the show's legacy.
In a few generations, the Huxtables will have been just a fairy tale.
Malcolm Jamal Warner was 54. I'm Ed Donahue.
There's more news at apnews.com. I'm Ben Thomas. Thanks for listening.
This is 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and streaming worldwide at WCPT820.com. We are Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter. Now, your WCPT 820 weather update.
I'm meteorologist Ray Miller from the Weatherology Weather Center. An extreme heat watch goes into effect on Wednesday. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low temperature of 69 degrees. Tuesday, sunny and warmer, high temperature of 84 degrees. The real heart of the heat arrives on Wednesday. Lots of sun, high of 97 degrees. The heat index in the triple digits with breezy southwest winds. Thursday, slight chance of thunderstorms with highs in the mid-90s. That's the latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 81.
This is a WCPT Veteran Minute. In the midst of World War II, the 200 and 515th Coast Artillery Companies from New Mexico stood resolute against overwhelming odds. Composed largely of Hispanic soldiers, these brave men were stationed in the Philippines, where they faced the brutal onslaught of Japanese forces. Despite their lack of supplies, American and Filipino forces managed to fight the Japanese for 3 months. However, this was not a victory for the American and Filipino forces. As the American Army surrendered in Bataan, the U.S. and Filipino prisoners of war were forced into the infamous Bataan Death March. A grueling 65-mile forced trek under the scorching sun, marked by extreme deprivation and harsh treatment. Sadly, 829 men were never able to return home. New Mexico's veterans of the Bataan Death March are honored each spring with the annual White Sands Bataan Death March Marathon. People from all around the world join together in the desert at the White Sands to participate in the anniversary of one of the most tragic casualties of World War II. This has been a WCPT Veteran Minute.
You're listening to WCPT 820, because facts matter.
Get home with Patti
Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us. As we continue to drive it home, I want to welcome our friends listening on KTNF AM 950 Minneapolis, St. Paul, joining our friends on KKNW 1150 in Seattle. Of course, we're here in Chicago on WCPT 820. And you can also watch the live broadcast streaming on Facebook or use the TuneIn app and listen to the show for free wherever you are in the world. And all of our shows are available as podcasts. So you can go to heartlandsignal.com and check out our podcasts. You can also find them on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, YouTube, and Amazon. And you can also see featured podcast interviews, such as our conversation with State Senator Laura Fine, the Famous Brothers, and Jess Piper, to name a few. We also want to thank our sponsors of the show. Go to source.solar, make an appointment. Maybe it's time for you to get solar panels on your house or business and join thousands of happy customers in the Chicagoland area. If you go to the Patti Vasquez show page, you can see our latest column that I published, that I shared with the followers of Monaco Brewing Company. And I'm proud of it, but I should have written it and then slept on it and then reread it, because now I'm catching a lot of things that I would have written differently. And my friend Kevin Burke, Kevin Burke was a Ringling Brothers clown, Lady B, and he's like, I have a bone to pick with you pointing at clowns, because they also stand up to fascists, and he makes a good point. I forgot about Kevin Burke and his juggling. At any rate, yes, Kevin, I apologize for that. Also want to thank our friends at Pride Coffee Roasters. Go to Pride Coffee Roasters and sign up for their bean subscription. I just had one of their the India flavor. Oh, so good. And if you go right now to their website, pridecoffeeroasters.com, you can get a discount. You can get you can travel the world with one of 11 different single origins, always freshly roasted for you by the proprietors, the owners, Patty and Jackie. For a limited time, head to their website, place an order with coupon code DRIVEHOME10 to save 10% on your entire order. And of course, we want to thank our friends at Kids Above All. Go to KidsAboveAll.org and support their mission to help children live happy, healthy, safe lives. I'm super excited about this weekend coming up. There's some of my favorite things are happening, and one of them is an event with the Walworth County Dems. Joining us is the chair of the Walworth County Dems, my favorite Wisconsinite from this fib to Anita Loch. Hi, Anita. How are you doing today?
Hi, Patty. I'm doing great, and you?
I'm hydrating.
Well, it's cooler than it's been. Let's just put it that way. We've had a break here in the weather, for sure.
Agreed. So I'm looking forward to being in Lake Geneva with all of you. First of all, is what have you guys been up to? You have a new chair of the Wisconsin Dems. Of course, there's a lot of conversation about whether or not Governor Evers is going to run again. We've got a lot of people talking about these congressional races. I know that there are people challenging Van Orden and amongst others. What are the Walworth Dems focusing on in these months ahead of 2026?
Yeah, we're really getting ready for another crazy election cycle in 26. We have spring elections, so it's local, but we also have another Wisconsin Supreme Court race, and that's going to take a lot of energy and a lot of doors knocked and all of that kind of thing again. Good candidate. She's actually visiting Walworth in October, speak to the members and whatever. So that's that. And then for the fall, there's a lot of, is Governor Evers going to run or not? And, who are the ones that would probably run if he doesn't? So a lot of speculation there. But whatever he decides, we will certainly get behind that. Very important for Wisconsin. We're looking to get a trifecta in 26. That means to elect Democratic governor and his staff. Second is to take over the state Senate. And the third is to take over the state assembly. With our fair maps in 2024, we have a really, really good opportunity to do that. First time since 2010, we will have a legislature that will work with us, and we can get some things done in Wisconsin.
Oh, man. What I love about you and the work that you all do, Ellen, Holly, all of our friends in Patty and everybody, is this is a lot. You guys have been at this and working hard, and yet your enthusiasm does not. I mean, look, I know you're on the radio and you're bringing the conversation, but you guys you're relentless. And I think that's a big part of this, is to remind people this is not a sprint, and it's not even a marathon. Okay. As far as I'm concerned, this is a relay race. You have to also know when you've got to encourage somebody else to take the baton too, don't you think?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we've been busy. We have been to every protest rally. We are out with sign brigades. We are fighting hard against this Trump administration and what they're trying to do to our country. So the theme of our fundraiser coming up on Sunday is We the People, fighting for our country, basically. And we feel strongly, and we're going to have about 200 people there, and people who obviously are wanting to support and make sure that we can. I mean, we're talking election season starting basically now, and get that support we need at the county level to do what we do, obviously across the state as well.
And folks, this is going to be this Sunday, July 27th from 2 to 5 at Hawks View Golf Club. That's on Kruger Road in Lake Geneva, 7377 Kruger Road. And I'm excited about this. I'm excited to hang out with all of you and share some stories, talk about door knocking. Of course, we had some folks. It's so funny. We posted this event on our Patti Vasquez Show page, folks. You can also get a link there. But, of course, immediately someone's like, where's a $40 go? And you know what? Door knocking and protecting democracy, it takes some change, is all I'm saying. It takes some pocket change.
Yeah. And it's more than that. What we've done in Walworth County, we do billboards. We do signs, we do texting, we do radio. We work with our Latino coalition on their Spanish radio. We telephone. We have neighborhood teams that we are doing events all the time in community involvement. We support our candidates, so local candidates, obviously the state and federal candidates important, but we support our local candidates too for mayor, for city council that have democratic values like us. So the money goes to a lot of different things to elect Democrats up and down the ballot. It's not the big elections always, but those school boards, those city councils are important as well.
Oh, no doubt about it. And we really enjoy working with all those candidates. We were up in Kenosha, Racine for a lot of those races and look forward to coming back, of course. And speaking at the event will be Lieutenant Governor Sarah Rodriguez, Devin Remiker, and Joshua Taylor. That's the chair and second chair of the Wisdems. How has the change of leadership been for you guys? Has it been pretty? Is it exciting to have a fresh eye? I mean, I know he's been working with Ben Wickler, so is it sort of a lateral?
Yeah. Well, Ben was wonderful. I mean, he was absolutely wonderful. He did so much in the time that he was with us. But Devin worked right alongside him, and he is carrying that baton forward. And then we're looking, obviously, to do the next level of what we need to do in 26. Real focused strategy on local, these neighborhood teams, getting to know communities. We're out there. We've got people out there already knocking on doors, getting to know people, inviting them to these neighborhood teams. We're participating in events like, we did a Unity Drive here in Whitewater supporting our immigrants, just all those kinds of things to really get to know the people in our communities.
It's wonderful, and you have some of the Walworth County Dems writing pieces on Substack. Tell us a little bit about this work folks are doing.
Yeah, so that's just new. It's on the website. People can go there. So we have about 25 gals and guys who write letters to the editor. We have people who really want to get the message out there and help people understand where we are as Democrats. And so a lot of us are doing Substack and podcasts and all of that, and we said, hey, why doesn't Walworth Dems do it? And so our communications team with our IT team for the website and whatever have got it all set up, and we are encouraging our folks to get out there and get that personal, how they're feeling about things and how they think things should change in a Substack from them as well.
And I know that when we had the event, when you guys had your event, the town hall with an empty chair because Steele did not show up, Congressman Steele, are you here? 'Cause I know we heard from veterans, we heard from farmers. Are more people showing up in the office who maybe weren't involved previously?
Yeah, we have people coming in who are just stressed out, really. They come in and I don't know what to do. I'm so stressed out. And so we help them. Here's what you can do. You can go to a rally. You can come in and work with our other volunteers. You can sign up to do phone calls. You can go out and knock some doors if you're comfortable. Come to our meetings. You'll have people who think like you. And we try to have a lot of our meetings with discussion periods so people can just talk, because that's kind of where we are right now. We need to engage and re-engage and keep people in the game.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Man, you guys do such great work. I'm excited to see. It's just like going to see it's like going to see my family. It is this Sunday. You guys really, if wherever you're living, if you're just like from Illinois, south of the border, you want to find out how you can help. Although we do have a lot of races in Illinois, that it's. I don't know if you've seen how crazy it's about to be for us in the next year with a lot of moving pieces. Are you guys watching it all?
You do. Yeah. I'm from Chicago originally. Got up here a few years ago, but I understand Chicago too. Yeah.
Well, in Illinois in general, we've got a lot of moving pieces. But this is a way, folks. They have a Supreme Court race coming up next April. So now is the time to get invested in what's happening, because what happens in Wisconsin affects the rest of the country. All of it. It really and they're one of the best. And with all due respect to all of my friends and all their campaign offices and all the Dems across the country that we've had the pleasure of working with, you guys, I'm sorry, but that guy with that pulled pork, I don't know if
I know.
Oh,
I know.
My God.
I know.
Is there going to be pulled? Yep. There's not going to be pulled pork at the golf club, is there?
No.
All right, fine. I'll come anyway.
August 17th, we're doing our Summer Fest, and he's cooking for that. So just FYI.
Oh, you having an event for my birthday? Okay, I'll see if I can get the family to come with me. Just saying. This is we're talking about this Sunday, July 27th, from 2 to 5 p.m. at Hawks View Golf Club. The speakers will be Lieutenant Governor Sarah Rodriguez, Chair of the WisDems, Devin Remaker, Joshua Taylor, who's the second chair of WisDems, and I will have the opportunity to speak as well. Yeah. And thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for inviting me, and I look forward to a long, awkward hug with you.
Sounds great, Patty. We'll see you on Sunday.
We'll see you on Sunday. Everyone go to, what's the best place? WalworthCountyDems.org?
No, just WalworthDems.org. WalworthDems.org.
Excellent. WalworthDems.org, folks. Don't listen to me. Listen to the chair of the Walworth Dems. Have a great evening. I'll see you on Sunday.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Let's take a break here. And if folks want to give us a call, we would love to hear from you. The phone lines are open. The Credo mobile phone and text line is open, 773-763-9278. That's 773-763-9278. And we'll take a break here and be back in a moment on WCPT, KTNF, and KKNW. Look at me, on time for once. Almost.
A better life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
It's hard to look at just about anything on your phone these days without stumbling across a wellness influencer. Some of them are really inspiring. They offer great ideas for workouts, meals, better night's sleep. Others, though, may not be telling you the whole story with their posts. How they attain that body, that glow, that air of perfection. On some level, it's not real, and yet you still can't look away. So here's what I would tell you. If you see a trend you want to try, start by asking yourself if you're interested in the benefits for your health or if you're just trying to showcase your accomplishment on social media. I'll add that every bit of proven advice in this space centers around building sustainable habits. That means you need to start small and then build on your success, no matter what the trend shows. If what you're trying to do is too drastic, it's not going to last. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, helping you live a better life.
Some people just know they can save hundreds on home and auto insurance by checking Allstate first. Like to check your house sitter has the new code first, before leaving for vacation.
System lockout.
But that's the code!
Contacting authority.
I'm out of here.
Oh, seriously, the car too?
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a home and auto bundle that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Available in every state. Potential savings vary. Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
DQ presents How to Make Your Summer Take Flight. Just head into DQ for a new Superman Cake Batter Cookie Dough Blizzard Treat. Treat your inner hero to an epic mix of sugar cookie dough, sprinkles, and cake batter flavor. Blend it all with legendary DQ soft serve, and it's enough to tempt Superman himself. Fly into DQ for our new Superman Cake Batter Cookie Dough Blizzard Treat before it's gone. And don't miss Superman, only in theaters July 11th. DQ, happy tastes good. Only at participating locations.
Alexa, play WCPT.
WCPT from TuneIn.
If you're listening to this station right now, you've definitely heard my voice before. Hi, I'm Hawk.
And I'm Pete. And we're with Source Solar, your local source for solar. Source Solar is Chicagoland's premier solar installer, providing solutions for over 1,000 homeowners and business owners across Illinois and Iowa.
With over a decade of industry experience and deep roots here in Chicago, we have the expertise to help your transition to clean, renewable, resilient energy.
We can guarantee that we save you money day one without any out-of-pocket cost to you. This means you have an instant ROI, instant payback, and can save money to add to your bottom line day one.
At Source Solar, we source everything as local as possible, meaning we always carry the Made in USA sticker.
Find us online at www.source.solar. Stop in our office at 5710 North Northwest Highway or give us a call at 773-985-3992.
And don't forget to ask for Hawk
or Pete.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you for joining us as we're driving it home. I'm your host, Patti Vasquez. I'm looking at some of the... It's funny because I wrote a column for Monaco Brewing Company about comedians, watching comedians respond. One comedian who I know is responding that... Because I was talking about... I'm not saying that CBS is necessarily silencing Colbert specifically because he is going to be on the air for 10 more months and can say whatever he wants. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they'll yank him because there's got to be something in his contract if he does a certain thing. Who knows? But a comedian that I know is responding that it's not really silencing him if he gets 10 more months on the air and saying whatever he wants, and he'll most likely go somewhere else. It's not necessarily, to me, it's not about silencing Stephen Colbert. It's dismantling the infrastructure of how we receive some of these forms of entertainment that do call authority into question, right? To point out that the emperor is not wearing any clothing. Now, what my friend also points out is that Colbert was on for 4 years and did not speak truth to power when Biden was in office. And I don't think that's an unfair or an invalid point, except that I think this is more about power that's being used to hurt people in a way that is destroying our democracy. So I guess I wasn't specific enough. And like I said, I wish I had slept on my essay and come back with fresh eyes. But I wrote it as quickly as I could while enjoying a beer. So I'll be honest, I was having a cocktail while I wrote it. And I'm not saying, but you know what? If people are responding to it, that's also a good thing too. So I'll take the comments. No problem. Thank you. Hi, Tim. Hello to our friend in Seattle. Hey, Paul, what's on your mind, my friend?
Yeah, I was thinking about Colbert. I mean, what are the chances that Johnny Carson would still be on the air? He was relentless on Ronald Reagan. Remember the skit that he did? Yeah, that he did that when the Reagan administration determined that ketchup was a vegetable.
Yeah,
so he was showing about school lunches. Yeah, here's your vegetables. And he just worked a big thing of ketchup on the plate. I mean, it was. I doubt that would fly now. I mean, this is ridiculous. But
well, we've always known that Trump couldn't take a joke, and I don't know if it's true that he decided to run for office because President Obama made fun of him. I don't know, but I'm sorry. What were you going to say next?
Well, frankly, for all the times that he was just joking when he said that. Have you ever seen the guy laugh?
Right. No.
Never. No.
No.
No, he never laughs because he's an evil person, and just my hats off to the caller in the last hour, but it underlines something that I was thinking about. Let's not think that all of these children were females. There was a fair share of boys in there too, and we know that's true because we know that there's a lot of guys who are just sick and they like little boys too. So get me some little boys. Now there'll be an extra 10,000 in it for you. I mean, this is just so rude, and we know that Donald Trump is part of it. Why do we know? Because he was criminally convicted of fraud, and he was found liable in civil court of rape. Yeah. So And when people say, "Oh yeah, well it's civilly," and I say to people who say that, well, you know what? I'll tell you this: Donald Trump is as criminally guilty of rape as O.J. Simpson is of murder, and I'll bet you wouldn't tell me that just because O.J. Simpson was found civilly liable for wrongful death that he didn't do it. And people always tell me, "Yeah, but he really did do it." I'm like, "Well, no, wait a minute, he survived acquittal in the criminal trial. Donald Trump hasn't even been tested in a criminal trial."
Right.
So I said, you are picking and choosing who you want to say is guilty. And we know that his behavior has all along been consistent with the fact that, yeah, he was part of this. There's no doubt. I mean, he's by the way, the two crimes that are, if you're in court, a witness in court cannot be impeached by counsel, by the opposing counsel, for being convicted of any crime, even except for two things, except for fraud, which Donald Trump has been found guilty and liable for fraud in both criminal and civil court, and sex crimes. Those are the two things that the opposing counsel can say, this witness is not credible, and have that testimony impeached. And those are okay. Those are the only two. And Donald Trump has been guilty of both. So this guy has he's disgusting. He's a pig. And I tell you what, I might be a Christian, but all I can say for him is I hope that he suffers in the same way that he would have others suffer. That's kind of a twist on the golden rule, but that's what he wants. What the suffering that he wants for others is the same that he should accept for himself.
Are you noticing the I think the growing noise that people are making, speculating that he's not going to make it much, that basically the billionaires, the powerful, have all got what they needed out of him, and they're ready to move on. It seems like that's gotten much louder, or that's my logarithm on social media, that everyone's speculating that he's not going to make it the years, whether it's for health reasons or whatever. I don't know.
I don't think he'll survive this presidential term for health reasons, because it's clear, I think, having dealt with my mom and congestive heart failure, that whatever he's got going on here, and the on the internet, most physicians are saying, yeah, this is all pretty indicative of congestive heart failure. My mom was in her 90s, so he's a good 15 years behind her. But I don't think he'll make it, because even if he can survive, it's survivable. It's amazing how long my mother lived with that. But, you can't do anything. Because just the medications that you have to take to stay alive, he's just not going to be able to work like he does anyway. But he's not going to be able to even keep the schedule, the minimum schedule that will be required to do it. So I think I'm just hoping that I'm hoping for this. I hope he survives past the midterms, another year in office, because I'm really praying and rooting for the Democrats to take both chambers of the Congress, because number one, if J.D. Vance has to take over as president, we want to have a Democratic Senate that denies him a choice of a vice president. So he'll have to fly solo, and that makes the Speaker of the House next in line to the presidency. And then we want to have the House to make sure that we have the Speaker of the House is a Democrat. So, it's not required that the president has to have a vice president. So he can be denied that. And there have been probably, I think about 8 or 9, mostly back in the 1900s, the 19th century, who ascended to the presidency as vice president and never did have a vice president of their own.
Right. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, so that's the strategy. We have to start playing. We have to start playing Mitch McConnell small ball. And we have to start playing. Yep.
I know. I've been telling people what my 5-year, 10-year, not for policy. As far as what the blueprint is for our Project 20 whatever year. We have to create our own thing. What's our path forward? What's our plan? What do we want to accomplish? For me, universal health care. We have to start laying the groundwork for what that's going to look like, because this is not sustainable for Americans, and especially when the funding for the ACA next year dries up for people because they don't realize that they are on Medicaid. right? Because their states call it something else. The cost of health care is going to go up 15% to 75% for Americans, depending on where they live and what their form of health care is. And that's it's going to be so painful. So we better be ready with something.
Let me ask you this. I was thinking, don't the Democrats...
Can you call back after my interview with Congressman Sorensen? I have to go. I was told to be right on time. Right back after this with a conversation with Congressman Eric Sorensen on WCPT, KKNW, and KTNF.
You're listening to WCPT 820. Here's the latest Chicago weather update.
I'm meteorologist Ray Miller from the Weatherology Weather Center. An extreme heat watch goes into effect on Wednesday. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low temperature of 69 degrees. Tuesday, sunny and warmer, high temperature of 84 degrees. The real heart of the heat arrives on Wednesday. Lots of sun, high of 97 degrees. The heat index in the triple digits with breezy southwest winds. Thursday, slight chance of thunderstorms with highs in the mid-90s. That's the latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 80.
This is Chicago's Progressive Talk, 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and online at WCPT820.com, where facts matter.
Hi, I'm Diana. As a veteran, I know that for many servicemen and women, the battle doesn't always end when they come home. Because I too struggle with the invisible wounds of service. Thankfully, I found American Humane's Pups for Patriots program, which brought Sam into my life. Before being paired with Sam, I didn't get out of bed for most days. Pups for Patriots and Sam literally changed my life. Now I'm able to go to the store without having a panic attack. I'm finally able to live my life the way I want to live it. Pups for Patriots provides trained service dogs to veterans like me at no cost. If you're a veteran or know a veteran struggling with post-traumatic stress or traumatic brain injury, please go to AmericanHumane.org to learn about their Pups for Patriots service dog program. Let's give our veterans a fighting chance.
A message from American Humane.
When I first had my baby, I'd get comments all the time about how happy I must be. I remember thinking, I want to be happy. Why don't I feel that way? It was hard to admit that, even to my doctor. But I'm glad I did. She told me it was postpartum depression, and that is very treatable. These days, things are feeling good, and we're both happier about that. Right, little man? I'll take that as a yes.
Mental health care is working for Simone. See what it can do for you at mentalhealthcareworks.org. A message from the American Psychiatric Association Foundation.
Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT 820, where facts matter.
Welcome back to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us as we continue to drive it home. We are thrilled to welcome Congressman Eric Sorensen on the line. I don't think we've ever needed a meteorologist to be in the Capitol as we do now. Eric Sorensen represents the 17th Congressional District, and he has since 2023, covering western and central Illinois, around Moline, Rock Island, and the Illinois side of the Quad Cities. Congressman, in your wildest dreams, did you, not dreams or nightmares, I guess, would you think we would be in this situation? I mean, I guess the denying science has been happening for a long time, but here we are, right?
Right. I mean, so here's the thing. When I was, earning the people's trust in Rockford and the Quad Cities for 20 years as their meteorologist, right? I was telling people, here are the complex issues, and here's how we make sense of them. And so I'll tell you, in my first term in Congress, that was what I did. But now we are just in uncharted territory. It's really hard to explain what's going on today because it's unfathomable what Donald Trump is doing. It's unfathomable what Donald Trump is doing to control the legislative branch of the country. Our founding fathers would roll over in their grave with what's going on today.
Oh, absolutely. Well, before we get to all the things like the votes, the defunding of the National Weather Service, the Oceanic, I don't think I even realized how important the NOAA? There's so many letters. Before we get to that, I do want to talk about your background as a meteorologist and what inspired you to run for Congress. So tell us about growing up and were you involved civically? Was it science? Was it a little bit of both?
Yeah, so, all I wanted to be when I was a kid, growing up in Rockford, was to be the weatherman on Channel 13.
Aww.
And aside from a few years that I worked in Texas, I've only worked in the district that I now serve. And so it was, I kind of feel like my biggest competition as a meteorologist, it wasn't the people at the other TV stations, it was the phone. It was everybody's weather app. And so I looked at these weather apps, and I'm like, they can tell you a 30% chance of rain, but they can't tell you why. They can't really communicate with you the risk. They can't really guide you when you're making decisions on when to bring your kids in the basement for a tornado. The phone isn't going to the schools to educate kids about weather. Right. And so it was about building a brand that was based in trust. And I'll tell you what, I was sitting in the TV newsroom at WQAD in the Quad Cities in 2021. My Congresswoman, Sherry Bustos, was retiring. We needed to keep a Democrat in this seat. It was so important for us, and we've got to get back to Democratic majority. And I thought, why was I put in this place in this congressional district for nearly 20 years? And so it was about running for Congress. It's about getting to Washington and explaining how things work for people or how things are broken and how we need to change them. I kind of thought I was going to be the meteorologist that was going to communicate more about the climate crisis, but then I get to Washington and I realize, you know what, we're not, Washington is not good at communicating what it does to anybody. We've got to change it.
Absolutely. And to that, I mean, the idea that we are in a position now, I've read some of the thoughts you've had regarding the horrific flooding and the catastrophe that happened in Texas. Yeah. And it's made me think a lot. I mean, I went to Girl Scout camp in East Troy, Wisconsin. And, I don't remember ever doing a tornado drill. Right. And I don't know. I know that there is, there are laws all over the country, including Illinois, about the kind of disaster plan that camps are supposed to have. But to your point about people getting their information about the weather on their phone, are we at the point? I mean, how hard is it for you as a meteorologist and as a legislator to know that people kind of get these alerts on their phones and like, I get these all the time. Nothing ever happens. We'll be fine. And I feel like we've kind of gotten to that, not just with the weather, but also with our politics. I feel like we're treating both the same. Like, what am I going to do about it?
Right. So I think a lot of it has to go with social science. But, we also have to go back when we look at what's happened in Texas is the parents of those children. They made a decision that it was safe for their children to be there. We do need to understand what went wrong so that it doesn't happen again.
Exactly.
And that's why I'm working with bipartisan legislation right now with Republican Congressman Moran of Texas to figure out, are we getting the information to the rural parts of America that we need to, right? It's about making sure that we fund the National Weather Service so that the people that are making those warning decisions are there. And I'm working with Republican Mike Flood in Nebraska because they get a lot of tornadoes in Nebraska. And he said, also, his last name is Flood. Let's be honest. If the weatherman in Congress needs somebody on the other side, I'm probably going to go to Mike Flood.
Amazing.
But so these things, we have to understand that policy should work for the benefit of the people. And now in my office, I'm working on a new bill very similar to, we have the NTSB. Right? So when there's a plane crash, we need to know that politics doesn't get in the way of finding out what led to the disaster. I want to see the same thing happen for weather disasters, especially as climate change is going to fuel more of these in the future. We need to make better decisions. And so that's why I'm working on bipartisan legislation right now that would create an NWSB of sorts so that we can basically make sure that what happened in Texas isn't going to happen again. The big tornado isn't going to happen again. The Hurricane Katrina is not going to happen again, but it's going to take, independence, and then it's going to take good policy decisions.
Well, to that, are we making good policy decisions? I mean, I think I already know the answer when it comes to funding for the National Weather Service, for NOAA. I mean, with the images still fresh in our minds, even though it's been months of Elon Musk standing on stage with a chainsaw going through all these agencies and slashing jobs and funding. What should we know about our National Weather Service and how it's been disrupted and the NOAA by this administration?
Right. So what they're trying to do is make it not work. It's the same thing that they're trying to do with Social Security, right? You know, like in Rockford, they threatened to close the Social Security office. And so I had to come up with a legislation that says you can't close Social Security offices. And then the administration says, "Oh, Congressman, we're just going to have people call on the telephone." Well, how annoying is it, Patty, when you're on the phone and you get your call is important to us.
Yeah.
No, that shouldn't happen for somebody who's at the end of their rope, right? And so when it comes to the National Weather Service, we need to make sure that they're funded, because I'll tell you, I talked with folks at AccuWeather and the Weather Channel. They don't want to be in the data collection. They just want to be able to sell the communication of it. It's the same thing that commercial television and radio stations do. They don't want to be in the business of collecting the data. But also what we're seeing now with this administration, the Trump administration wants to take away the funding for NOAA to do the research. You know, they think, in Donald Trump's brain, he seems to think that if he legislates climate change to go away, that it won't exist anymore.
Right. Yeah.
Like the rest of the world isn't doing all of this work. We have to be on the forefront. And I think it's a great place for Democrats to be, because now we can say, no, we're going to put America first. We want America to win here. We want America to innovate and lead when it comes to science, and not push back against science, not cut the funding for the Department of Education. I mean, those are things that put America last.
Absolutely. Well, and to that, this big, brutal bill that has been passed with all these cuts, all the absolute decimation of funding for people who rely on Medicaid, senior services.
Mm-hmm.
In Illinois alone, I believe we're looking at least 9 rural hospitals that are vulnerable to closures, 93 senior centers that may have to fold because they rely on the funding from Medicaid. A lot of people think that this is going to, because the timeline is that some of these cuts don't hit until after the midterms. But are you hearing from anybody that they have to basically anticipate what their funding is going to be like? I think places are going to start suffering sooner rather than later, don't you think?
Right. So here's the thing: is we have to make sure that we hold the Republicans to account. They're the ones that did this, right? It is Elon Musk that carried the chainsaw. We cannot let them forget it, because when it doesn't work, when we have rural hospitals that close, when we have grocery stores that close because they're not getting the folks with SNAP benefits through the front checkout, right? When we have food deserts that are appearing all over the place, we have to hold them to account so that they pay the price in the midterms, so that people understand that we as Democrats are the problem solvers. And there was a big reckoning, even for me, I will tell you. At the very beginning of Donald Trump in January becomes the president again, and introspection, Patty, I had to say, what can I do? We can't just push back against Donald Trump. We have to show the country what Democrats are for. We are for health care. We want to make sure we're connecting people, especially vulnerable groups, to health care. We want to make sure that kids are not going to sleep tonight without having a meal in their bellies today. I mean, those are the things that we're fighting for, and we need to continue building this list as we go forward, because that's how we're going to bring people to our side.
Absolutely. I think that's important for folks to remember. And you're right about needing to highlight the failures of this big, brutal bill every step of the way, that this was entirely on the Republicans. This is on MAGA. And to MAGA,
right.
And to your point about winning people over, I don't know that we're winning people over, but we're certainly seeing some madness in regards to these Epstein files. What are your thoughts around? People will say, oh, why didn't Biden release them? Or it's Democrats that are on the list. As far as I'm concerned, Congressman, if there are Democrats on them, torch them. I'm not in a cult. That's my take. What are your thoughts on this sort of madness that's happening on that side?
So here's the thing, Patty. I didn't just appear in Congress, right? I only won, and we were only to keep this seat blue because I had earned the trust of the people for 20 years, because I had earned the trust of the people. Let's understand what this is. There are people at the highest level of our government, including the president, that are shielding pedophiles today by not releasing this list because there are so many important people. Right? Why is the president shielding people? And I'm with you. I'm with you, Patty. We need to know who was in this cover-up. You know, it's so disingenuous when you have someone like Pam Bondi saying that, oh, I have the file on my desk, and then the president and she say, oh, we don't have the file because it doesn't exist anymore. Like the American public is stupid. Come on. We all need to be together and say, you know what? We're not going to let the highest level people in our government cover this up. We have to lead with transparency. And guess what? You have to do that because we're supposed to trust you.
Yes. I'm so grateful for your time, for your insight, and for the fight that you are waging to make sure that people are aware of what's happening and fighting for people's needs, their protections, their freedoms, all the things. So we would love to talk to you again soon as your schedule allows. I know that you're super busy, trying to save democracy and all. It's exhausting. I hope you're taking care of yourself. But we'd love to check in again. What's the best way for folks to keep? Thank you, Patty. Of course. What's the best way for folks to keep up to date on what you're doing? Like, on Instagram? Where do you direct folks?
I love on Facebook. You can just go for Eric Sorensen on Facebook or go to ericforillinois.com. Because, we're going to need people on our side, as we go forward and as we fight this. I don't take anything for granted. We have to work every day and be diligent that, you know what, in 2026, the midterms are going to be ours. We're going to take back the House. And in 2028, we're going to take back the White House.
I like your enthusiasm. Thank you so much, Congressman. You have a great day.
All right,
and
well.
We'll check in again. You too. Take care. We'll be right back after this on WCPT 820, KKNW 1150, and KTNF AM 950.
Amy Goodman reports on the news stories rarely covered by the corporate media. Democracy Now!
The UN's Humanitarian Affairs Office warned Palestinian children are at high risk of injury or death from unexploded ordnance left after more than 13 months of Israeli attacks. 8-year-old Mohammed Karmash, this is his mother.
No one was there to tell him that these are explosives that the Israelis throw.
Democracy Now! Weekday evenings at 10 on WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk.
If you're purchasing a new home or refinancing your existing home, you need to call Team Hochberg, your trusted local lender. Corey called to consolidate his debt and was so happy with my advice, he left me this 5-star Google review. Quote, I was looking to pay off debt, so I reached out to David after listening to his radio show. David called me personally and walked me through my options. He shot it straight. There was no beating around the bush or pushing me to sign anything. If any of my family or friends need anything related to a mortgage, I'll give them David's number because you can't get better or more honest service. Thanks, Corey. I strongly encourage everyone to check out our close to 600 5-star Google reviews from listeners like Corey. Team Hochberg helped Corey and thousands of radio listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com. That's 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com. Lower.com, equal housing lender, MLS 1124061.
There are 1,000 ways to say it.
Nope. Knock it off. Shut it down. Dream on. No dice. Give it a rest. Not a chance.
Or just.
I'll text. You focus on the road.
As a passenger, you have the power to prevent an accident. There are 1,000 ways to stop a distracted driver. Choose one.
A message from CTIA.
Because facts matter. You're listening to WCPT 820.
Union Strong Chicago continues to lead the way with progressive values and in preserving democracy. Your support of the Minocqua Brewing Company Super PAC efforts in Wisconsin and beyond strengthens the fight against MAGA Republicans. You can now purchase progressive beers like Labor Lager, Love Wins Fruited Sour, and the Resistance IPA in Chicago at Rogers Park Provisions, Diversity Beer, Wine and Spirits in Lakeview, Park West Liquor, Wine and Beer in Lincoln Park, Logan Square Liquors, and Tip Top Food and Liquors in Westtown. Visit
visit MinocquaBrewingCompany.com for all their Chicagoland locations. As always, no matter how bad our sports teams are, please drink responsibly.
Patti Vasquez is taking your calls now.
All right, let's hit it.
At 773-763-9278.
I got a lot to say.
It's Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
It was great to catch up with Congressman Eric Sorensen. That was a pre-recorded interview. Sometimes we work around folks' schedule. So thank you so much for tuning in to hear that interview. Man, I really do think it's got to be... He's very measured. You can see that he wants to. He's the kind of guy who's working in an area where there are still winnable folks, and I think I know that we should all be taking that approach. He's very enthusiastic. I'm trying. I struggle, so I try to put on a happy face. There's a great video actually on our page from someone who lives in a red state. There's a woman from Arkansas who shares some insight as to why red states, why people who live in red states vote the way they do. And she says that a lot of it comes from jealousy of seeing other. And we've talked about this before, and the jealousy comes from seeing other people, getting opportunities or maybe a path to acquire things that they can't in these rural areas where they're so choked off from resources. And not only are they choked off from resources, it's only going to get worse as they defund NPR, which will have a ripple effect throughout every single state in this country. You heard, I'm sure you're hearing these stories about how a lot of the news teams from NPR, they employ journalists that help also provide content, news to other stations throughout different states. So it's really hard. Like Indiana, they'll most likely have to let go of all their journalists. I'm sure it'll hurt WBEZ, all because they just don't like having people being informed and educated. And I agree that it isn't that that there's some sort of agenda. What they don't like, what the people in control and power don't like, is when people are educated, when they're informed, when they are learning about empathy. I mean, come on, you guys. I'm sure there are plenty of people who grew up watching Mr. Rogers and didn't learn the lesson, but I think a lot of us still have fond memories of learning about connecting with our neighbors, learning about the jobs that people do in our communities, about the emotional roller coasters that we go through, and we learned that as children. And I thought that was that kind of programming is going to go away. And I get it. I get that nothing is owed to us by this government. It was something that thankfully was created to reach, in particular, rural areas that didn't have access to kind of resources that we have in places like Chicago, New York, Boston, Los Angeles. And I know that I guess I don't, because I don't resent rural areas the way they seem to, and not everybody. Of course, we work with our friends in Wisconsin. We have our friends that we work with in Indiana, in Missouri, in Mississippi. It's just that some people fall for the manipulation, for the con, and the levels at which the uber wealthy, that these corporations break the laws or game the system to their benefit, is why we are in this situation. They've flooded all of the wealth. We, the labor, create the wealth that is then hoarded, right? Like the labor, right, Lady B? I mean, the riches do not exist without us putting in the hours, the time, the sweat, right? Being taken advantage of. We see it all the time. Hold on, that's me. You could go ahead.
It's true. Without us, I mean, we're the ones that contribute everything, pay our taxes, pay the higher taxes. The wealthies don't pay high taxes.
No.
So we're the ones that contribute and put in the work and the sweat.
Yeah. There was something, I had it on my computer, with every drip of sweat, this country runs on our wet backs, which I thought was I don't know where that quote came from. But I was like, what is this? And I don't know who said that to me. Like I heard it or I read it and I copied and pasted it, and I'm like, that has to go on a shirt.
Yeah.
This country runs on our wet backs. And I was like, I mean, to get right down, I'm hearing more people start to get worried about Latinos. And And I'm trying not to be like, we made sure that my mother has her passport. She got her passport renewed. Mom is 90, and you would hope that they would not come for someone who's 90. Only we know that this man in Pennsylvania, 82 years old, lost his wallet, which had his green card in it. So he showed up at the courthouse or the office to do the right thing to get a new card. He was here on asylum. He was here legally, did everything the right way, wanted to make sure that he and his family were safe.
Right.
ICE picks him up, and then they're told a month ago that he was dead. Only it turns out he's in a prison in Guatemala. They deported him.
My God.
Come on. What are we doing? This is not about... They said, oh, well, just get rid of all the criminals. But it's not. We see them hungry to get rid of brown people.
Exactly, because they're picking up anybody. They're not even bothering to do background checks.
Nope.
Nothing.
No warrants. No information. Someone put this really well, and I can't articulate it as well, but they were saying if you were really looking for people who were here undocumented, who are here illegally, you would show up to a workplace where you suspect that they're working with a clipboard. It's like a census taker. Hey, we're looking for whoever, right? Oh, they're not here today. We'll be back. Let them know that we need to make sure that they've got their documentation. We need to talk to them. Right. And you know what? The people, we know this, and we say this all the time, the people that are truly breaking the law and luring people here are the people who continue to employ them, including places like Mar-a-Lago. Just saying.
Yes. And look at the man who's in the White House. How many counts he has? 34,
I mean, yeah. This is
I don't know.
But communicating that to people. The thing is, on these radio stations, I've talked about this countless times, having driven through all over this country, through red states, right? Nebraska, North Dakota, South Dakota, throughout my career, Iowa. All the radio is about how all those people are taking things from you. The welfare queens, the migrants. I mean, I remember getting into a yelling match with somebody, and maybe it was because of the whiskey that I was yelling. But and again, like my name, using Patti Vasquez as a comedian in the 90s, wasn't as challenging as it became after George W. Bush became president. And all of a sudden it was about locking down the borders and undocumented, and there's too many immigrants, and we got to keep this country safe and all these things. And of course, all the, the Patriot Act and spying on people, all that stuff. But in the 90s, I remember this guy in Aberdeen, South Dakota, getting mad at me about how Mexicans are coming in and working for lower wages. And I'm like, okay, who's doing that though? It's the employers.
Exactly.
It was the employers taking advantage of people who are willing to do that work, who are coming from places where they don't have a future there.
Exactly, because the first thing they do is threaten them. If you don't do the job, you can either leave or get deported. They threaten if they don't accept it.
Yep.
They threaten them. All they want to do is come here, live the dream of everybody, have a good home for able to provide for their family, a home for their family, be able to provide health for their family. That's all they want to do.
Exactly. Out of the people, they say now, like, there are some people doing the investigative work of finding out how many people actually have criminal records that have been apprehended and deported. They say it's a fraction of the 100,000 people who've been just sort of dispersed onto the other parts of the world. Sometimes places that they aren't from. Sometimes places where they've been escaping the danger of gangs and crime. And they say that there are reports of people, you can hear them being thrown in with these gang members. You can hear them screaming.
Yes.
Now we're hearing stories coming out of Florida about people being treated like dogs, having to get on their knees to eat their food.
Yes.
And I find it challenging to figure out, like, it's hard. And I know, and when I wrote my piece yesterday, it's like I was in the garden and I thought, oh, it's such a nice night. And I know, I mean, I'm not unaware, and that the people there are people that are starving, there are people that are being attacked, there are people that are being killed. Anyway, so on that note, have a good night, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on the Patti Vasquez Show. Thank you to our sponsors, Minocqua Brewing Company, Pride Coffee Roasters, Kids Above All. I'm heading off to the Cinema Femme and see their wonderful work, the short films at the Music Box. Thank you so much, Lady B. I will see you tomorrow. Be safe, everybody.
Medicaid and CHIP offer free or low-cost health coverage for children and teens. Hospital and doctor visits, prescriptions, shots, and more are covered. That's peace of mind for parents